This is how you scale a single product brand to $1 million months with Facebook ads. Time and time again, I get brand owners coming to me saying they're stuck at 50K a month, 100K a month, or 6 figures a month in revenue, and they don't know how to get to the next level, but they want those 7-figure months so bad. And in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to talk about, how to hit those 7-figure months. I'm going to tell you the story of how I took on a brand last October that was doing $200,000 a month and how I scaled them to $1.5 million a month in revenue in under 6 months. To my subscribers, thanks for watching again. And if you're new here, my name is Mason Littlejohn, and I've spent over $330 million on meta ads and driven over $1.7 billion in meta ads attributable revenue. And that is why you should listen to me, of course. And my channel is dedicated to helping direct-to-consumer e-commerce brands hit $1 million months. And in this case study video, I'm going to go over the state of the ad account, how it was when I took on this brand, how we executed the ad account restructure without nuking performance, the prospecting campaigns we launched, the retargeting campaigns we launched, testing structure we installed, the ancillary campaigns we launched to scale even further, the deep ad account optimizations we did to increase efficiency further, and the path forward we're going to take to hit multi-million-dollar months. Now let's dive into the video. First, let's talk about the state of the ad account. So when I took on this brand in October of 2024, the ad account was a bit of a mess. There was probably 7 to 8 campaigns in there, all running on cost caps. There was videos mixed with statics, statics mixed with videos. There were some US only campaigns. There were some international campaigns. There was no retargeting campaigns. There was no testing campaigns. It was just a complete mess, jumbo mumbo of campaigns. And they were still doing 200K a month. Their profitability had greatly decreased. And that's why they came to me to fix their problems and get them back to scaling. And so the state of the ad account, it was, like I said, it was just a mess. And so we had to do a restructure. And that moves us next into how we executed this restructure without nuking performance. And so whenever I take on a new ad account, I typically am going to do some sort of restructure. A lot of agencies out there, media buyers, whoever it may be, they'll take on new brands, new ad accounts, and literally just pause out everything, nuke everything, and basically nuke the business, right? That is not the best way to do things. So if you're ever doing an ad account restructure for your own brand or for other brands, don't ever just pause everything out. It should be a phased approach. And so that is the approach we took. And so whatever the baseline budget was, say we're taking 3K a day, what I typically do, I'll take 50 to 25% of that budget and use that to launch our new restructure campaign. And that is what we did. We slowly transitioned over into the new ad account structure. And that's how we did it while keeping performance still steady, still having those consistent revenue numbers that they were at, while also transitioning the ad account over to a better ad account structure that will allow us to scale. Next, let's move on to what prospecting campaigns did we launch. And so, like I mentioned, the ad account was a complete mess. There was like 6 or 7 or 8 prospecting campaigns. Literally, there was no rhyme or reason to the campaigns. That's the number one thing I do when I restructure an ad account is every campaign has to have a purpose, right? And so this is what we did. And so the prospecting campaigns we launched were, one was a US prospecting video campaign. Next was a US only prospecting static campaign. And this brand also had a nice international footprint already. Their product is pretty cheap to be shipped. And so we also broke out international prospecting video campaign and an international prospecting static campaign. So we launched these 4 prospecting campaigns and slowly transitioned off the old ad account setup. And one detail I forgot to bring up about the state of the ad account was that the whole ad account was on cost cap. And so I know cost cap is it's a bidding type that a lot of people are fond of, truly, but this was just creating so much inconsistency for the business. And so for you new brands out there, don't use cost cap, don't use bid caps, use highest volume only, right? And so that is a major piece of what we did was we took the whole account off cost caps so we could bring consistent performance to the brand, because the brand was telling me how some days they would spend 5K, then 2K, then 3K, then 10K, right? And there was just no consistency to what they were doing. And so that was a major piece as we moved the whole account over to highest volume. Next, let's talk about the retargeting campaigns. I launched 2 campaigns. Number 1 was just a retention campaign. And so, of course, I had the brand install the Alia pop-up. Shout out the Alia team. If you mention me, you will get a preferred rate and a free trial if you mention Mason. So we got them installed with Alia. They were getting 15 to 20% sign-up rates. Now they're getting tons of email sign-ups. And so I started a retention retargeting campaign where we're targeting their email subscribers who had not purchased yet. And this thing started raking campaign in, giving us 2 to 3 to 4 to 5x the ROAS of our prospecting campaigns. Then we also launched a bottom of the funnel campaign. This was a campaign where I would retarget social engagers the last 7 days, add to cart the last 180, initiate checkout the last 180 days. And so this became the second retargeting campaign we ran. And again, retargeting should have much better return on ad spend than your prospecting campaigns. And that's exactly what these two campaigns have provided for the account. That is how you know your retargeting is firing on all cylinders, is when its return on ad spend is 2 to 3x, 4x, even sometimes 5x what your prospecting campaigns are. So at this point, we have the 4 prospecting campaigns. Now we have the 2 retargeting campaigns. We've officially transitioned off all the old campaigns, and now we are ready to go to scale mode almost. And so the next campaign that we added into the account was the testing campaign, right? And so I talked about testing campaigns over and over and over again on this YouTube channel. But again, I practice what I preach. So we have our foundational core campaigns, the 4 prospecting campaigns and the 2 retargeting campaigns there. We're getting consistent spend and consistent performance, but now it's about testing and then scaling. And so we installed our testing campaign, an ABO testing campaign. Each ad set is a test. And for them specifically, we would test at $50 a day. If an ad is a winner, we scale it in the testing campaign. And then we also duplicate it into our main core campaigns as well, right? And so we test with statics together. Static ads will be tested together. Concepts as well tested together. Videos and videos concepts tested together. We never mix static and videos in the testing campaign because we want to make sure they get spent and we get honest reads on these tests. And the testing campaign has been a huge part of this brand success as they test a lot of creative volume. Volume was never an issue for them on the creative side. They just didn't have a testing infrastructure in place that allowed them to scale. And so what we've done is we're testing every single ad through the testing campaign. If it's a winner in there, we scale it inside the testing campaign, and then we also duplicate it into those performance campaigns and scale them there. And so there's only winning ads now in the performance campaigns. And so now we have the perfect setup to scale. And so this ad account structure got us to $1 million months by January, but we wanted to go further, of course. And so we introduced some ancillary campaigns to continue adding incremental growth in the ad account. So here's the campaigns that we ended up launching additionally to horizontally scale and give the brand more places to spend money. So the first campaigns we launched were interest campaigns. So I figured out that there was an ICP that had a 1-to-1 interest, which I often talk about. If your ICP can match 1-to-1 with an interest within the Meta Ads platform, highly recommend you running an interest. I know everyone wants to go broad Advantage Plus only, but interest actually can crush if your ICP is 1-to-1 there. And so we launched that. Not gonna lie, the brand side, they're like, oh, I thought you can't run interest. I was like, trust me, let's just try this out. And boom, the interest absolutely smashed, both in the US and worldwide. And so for these campaigns, we mix videos and statics together because we're still trying to keep the account somewhat consolidated. And so we launched all of our top winning static ads and video ads into these interest campaigns, both for the US and worldwide. Next, we also wanted to go a little deeper. It's like, if interest works, what if we launch some lookalikes? Maybe that'll give us some incremental revenue. And so we did. We also launched lookalikes both for worldwide and US, and these also crushed. And so these were giving us incremental revenue and moving us further up into the mid-million-dollar months. But then we reached an issue in the spring. So CPC started to rise. Tariffs were the big talk of the town. And so we were running into some issues where consumers were clicking less on ads. And so we had to figure out, how can we control the flow of traffic and still drive as much clicks as possible to the site as CPCs were rising in the account. And so I came up with this revolutionary idea. I actually have never heard of it before, and I called it a CPC campaign. And so the issue that we were having was that we were having winning ads that had same CPAs, but one ad had under $1 cost per click, and then some of the other ads had $2, $3 cost per clicks, right? And when these were in the same campaign, for whatever reason, the $3, $2 CPC ads were sucking up the spend, and the cheap CPC ads were not getting spent. And so I thought of, hey, why don't we create what I call a CPC campaign, and any winning ad that has a low CPC, that ad will go into the CPC campaign. Any winning ad that has a high CPC will go into the regular campaign, right? And do the regular scaling campaigns, right? And so that is what I did, and boom, this unlocked another level for us where we had massive control over our traffic flow. And at this time, we had installed robust email marketing, SMS marketing flows, and they've also improved their website quite a bit as well, and also added Google ads, right? And so So us driving as much traffic as possible was actually in our favor because we had the back-end infrastructure to back this up, even if they did not convert right away. And so this CPC campaign took us to the next level, and boom, that's how we got to $1.5 million a month in revenue. And of course, there's always headwinds that come up in e-commerce. So I wanted to also go over some deeper ad account optimizations we did to increase efficiency in the ad account. And so there was two major optimizations that we did that made a huge impact on efficiency. So number one, we dove into the age breakdowns within the Meta Ads platform and saw that age 55 and over was actually coming in at a much higher CPA, much higher CPC, much higher CPM, and was just kind of not worth spending money on. And so we ended up excluding 55 plus from the ad account and saw efficiency increase quite a bit. Also dug deeper into our countries and saw that, hey, a lot of the countries that we were targeting were starting to wane and not actually driving as much performance as they did initially, right? And so we did a scrub. We scrubbed out quite a bit of countries and only stuck with the top worldwide countries that were actually driving a CPA, ROAS, and hitting our targets. And again, this added further efficiency to the ad account and to the overall business. So that's something I always recommend brands do probably quarterly. Look into your age ranges, look into countries if you're doing internationally, even placements, and figure out, hey, are we wasting money somewhere? Because the Meta Ads platform isn't perfect. Yes, they want to tell you, oh, just go broad, all placements, all countries, all whatever, right? But there's a lot of inefficiencies. The algorithm is not perfect. And so if you find these inefficiencies and cut them out, you can actually drive major leaps in performance by executing these deeper optimizations in your ad account. And last, I want to talk about the path forward. So we're at $1.5 million a month in revenue. We are crushing it, of course, but the brand wants to go much higher than that. They will actually want to do like 20 million plus this year. And so we have a path forward to that. We're going to continue to expand our campaigns, continue to double down on what's working, and continue to creative test and add as much creative volume as possible. And a big piece of that is adding in influencer whitelisting. That's something we have not done yet. And so we are implementing influencer whitelisting very soon, and that should get us to those $2 million months. And we're also adding in post-purchase upsells, in-cart upsells. And so we're working on a lot of CRO optimizations as well, which should help us hit those multi-million-dollar months. And the last thing we're doing that I hadn't really touched on is that we actually, during this whole time period, hadn't ran any promos. So this is a full evergreen setup we've been running. No promos, yet we've still been hitting these crazy numbers. And so one thing that we're adding into the back half of the year is they're actually going to do some promos for the major holidays, you know, outside of Black Friday, which they hadn't done before. And so this should make a massive impact. So if you as a brand aren't participating in promotions, you are typically leaving so much money on the table. So do not sleep on them. There's a lot of different ways you can do promotions that protect your brand, but promotions are going to be a big part of us hitting these multi-million-dollar months this year. And so if you've made it this far in the video, congratulations. You have just downloaded some serious sauce, and I appreciate you watching. So now there's three paths ahead of you. The first path is take all this information in this video and really not take any action on it, not take any of the learnings, and just kind of stay where you are as a brand, really. And I don't want that for you. I want you to take it to the next level. And there's path number two, which is still a great path actually, which is take all this information, all this sauce I just shared, and try to implement it on your own. Try to take your brand to the next level so you can hit these $1 million months, but it's most likely going to take you a lot longer than you want it to. You're going to hit a lot of roadblocks that you cannot anticipate right now. And then there's path number three. Path number three is working directly with me in my coaching program called Meta Ads at Scale, which is the first coaching program that helps e-commerce brands at any stage of growth scale profitably with Meta Ads. I've literally had brands coming at zero that we scaled to $350K a month. I've had brands coming at $1K a month, $10K, $15K, $100K a month, $200K a month. We even had a brand recently coming at $300K a month. We took to $1.2 million in less than 6 months. So it doesn't really matter where you're at as a brand owner. We can help you scale. It comes with personal one-on-one calls, group coaching calls. You get full accountability with a client success manager who's going to make sure you keep moving forward every single week. And of course, you get direct coaching from me one-on-one. So what are you waiting for? Hit the link below. Check out my coaching program, Meta Ads at Scale. Book a call with myself or one of my team members, and we're going to assess if it's a right fit. And if so, we will invite you to join the program. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and leave some comments down there as well. I'm always happy to answer them. I will see you in the next video.